It's game week, everybody. Saints and Panthers are going to kick it off this Sunday, but me and Kevin are going to give you over-unders for everything Saints to get you ready for the 2024 season. Thomas, hit that intro.
Welcome to the award-winning Saints Happy Hour podcast. Seriously, this podcast has won awards. American standards are dropping every day. The show features Ralph, the best host in the world, who can barely pronounce his own name, much less anyone else's.
Marcus Marquez Callaway.
Dave is that dude who loves taking bathroom breaks. He's mad about almost anything, so make sure to lower your volume when he speaks.
Put that freaking clown meme back up that I made. Jesus Christ.
Andrew has sources, watches tapes, and knows football. He rarely shows up on time and wants to commit crimes to help the Saints win.
Sean Payton would have done illegal things. Don't tell me I'm wrong, because you know it's true.
Oh, and there's also Kevin, who is great at doing mock drafts, but struggles to actually watch Saints games or have a functioning relationship.
Budrich wants to know how the doctor's doing.
That ended.
Anyway, grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy the insanity.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. Thanks for joining us. If you find us on the YouTubes, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow our channel. You don't want to miss any of our content during the football season because it's officially started. And I want to remind people, go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Check us out. Become an annual patron and get your Jim Mora stickers. I just shipped 155 of those sons of bitches worldwide, Kevin. We have patrons in 17 different countries. And guess what? Wherever you are, we ship it to you. Slovakia, Slovenia, New Zealand, Australia. It doesn't matter. We have merch in Poland. Even Poland, if we have merch and the patrons in the great United States gets it, everybody in the world gets it. That's our promise to you. So I got Kevin with me. I got Thomas running the show back in Poland. Kevin, it's game week. NFL is finally back. They're going to kick it off on Thursday. They're going to kick it off in Brazil Friday. And the Saints will play Sunday, Carolina. Today, I wanted to talk about over-unders, because this show, this YouTube thing, it's going to be a lot of gambling. It's going to be a lot of fun, ridiculous gambling, Saints preview talk when we get on the YouTubes this year. So I wanted to kick it off with over-under for the Saints. Now, not all of these are real that you can gamble on, although I'm sure you may be able to find it in your gambling app of choice. But these were just ones that I made up that me and Kevin can argue over. So we're going to play a game, Kevin. We're going to play over-under for the 2024 Saints. Are you ready to go?
Sure.
All right, Thomas, hit us with the first one.
All right, so the first one is team interceptions over under 12.5, 18 last year.
All right, Kevin, they had 18 last year, which was tied for third. Regression might be a problem here because they had been the no-catching MFers for so long, right? And last year they just got interceptions left and right. So I set it at 12.5. Last year they got 18. So this one sort of is contingent upon kind of like what you feel for the defense and that sort of thing. So what do you got?
Okay.
What do you got?
Oh, I thought you were going to go. Okay.
I'm going over. I'll go first. I'm going over.
Well, shit. Then you stole all my thunder then, because you made it sound like you were going to take the under, because then I was going to come riding in over the top and say I'm taking the over.
I'm going to take the over. Maybe I was unfair. Maybe I should have set it at like 17.5, and that would have been more interesting.
No, that would not have made it more
because
interesting.
I think they're going to have more than 12.5. I don't know that they'll get to 18, but I think they might, because I think the defense is going to be really good, Kevin. I think they're loaded at corner. I think if Honey Badger's healthy, I think they have a chance to create a bunch of turnovers, because the Saints are just, all their depth issues on the offensive line, they have a wealth of riches at corner. Like, I really believe teams, if the Saints wanted to do something and just wanted draft picks, I don't know that they could get a start an offensive lineman, but if the Saints were like, hey, do you want Rico Payton? Do you want Alante Taylor, Adebo, Lattimore? I think teams would be more than willing to give the Saints third, fourth round picks for any of those guys. But they're going to keep this depth. I think the secondary is going to be really good. I'm going over 12.5. So what you got, Kevin?
Okay. There have been, so since the 2010 season, I'm not Super Bowl, I'm not all that before, I'm not counting those years. I did some research before this one, and I started at 2010. So from 2010 to 2023, the Saints defense has recorded how many seasons fewer than 13 total interceptions?
Dude, it's got to be high.
7.
10. Oh.
Exactly half of the seasons since the Super Bowl year, they've had 7 seasons of 12 interceptions or fewer. They had a few where they got like 9. It was bad. Seasons in which they got over 16. 4.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
So there are a couple. So let me see. So that's 7. That's 4. That's 11. So that means 4 other years they got between 14 and 15 interceptions. So I like the idea of them getting more picks than 12 and a half.
I think if Vegas had done this line, it would have been. I think it would have been a little bit higher.
It might
Probably.
have been. I am. So let's see. So 2023 they had 18. 2022 was they had 7, so that was like a nadir. But the year before was 18 again.
Yeah.
And then you go back to 2020, 18 again.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2019. Hang on, where the hell is 13? So DA
Gets
when
turnovers,
he's with the defense.
Getting turnovers.
Like DA was with the team in 2019. Or I'm sorry, 2018. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he'd been with the team that long.
Yeah, he's been back since middle of 2015.
As the DC?
Yeah, remember they brought DA on. They brought DA back after he got fired from the Raiders. And
Lord.
They were like, "Oh, you're like a defensive like a quality control or I don't know what the title was."
Right.
And like we were like, man, when they fire Rob Ryan, DA's just going to slide right back in. And then they did in 2015.
Right.
They fired Rob Ryan like 10 games into the season.
Right. Okay. I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
It's
a long time, bro.
The COVID years screwed everything up.
Yeah, it does.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't realize he'd been with the team that long. But my point is that I think that the defense still plays well enough to get over 12 and a half. I don't want to say pound the over, but
you'd hit it pretty hard.
I would feel comfortable taking the over. If you gave me 15 and a half,
it'd be tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think when you look at the schedule the Saints have, and you get to play Bryce Young twice, you get to play Baker Mayfield twice, you get to play a rookie quarterback in Denver, you get to play the Raiders, you get to play Danny Dimes. Like there's a lot of potential for interception. So I'm with you there. So Thomas, what's next?
All right, switching to next one. Next one is Chase Young over under 8.5 sacks.
This is big, Kevin, because it would be a career that over 7.5 would be a career year for him. So we're going even higher than that. 8.5. What are you going on this?
I am taking the under.
Ooh, okay.
If he hits 8, that's a career high.
That's right.
So I on it that. So look, his last season, he got 2.5 sacks. And the year before in Washington at the tail end, he had 5, but that was an injury. They were both injury related. Both injury-plagued seasons, and in that middle year was a complete bust. But I think he's going to have I think he'll have a rebound. and he'll look really good, and he'll end up getting a really good deal somewhere. I would, if I had to guess, I'd say 5 or 6.
Okay.
But again, I'm taking the under.
See, this is our argument. I'm gonna go completely disagree with you. I think he's gonna blow this number out the water. But there's gonna be a caveat. I think he's gonna be healthy. I think he's gonna be really good. But the thing that has kind of, besides injuries, the thing that has kind of sort of followed him is he disappears for long stretches in games and for weeks at a time. I think he's going to have 10 plus sacks, but I think they're going to come in bunches. Like, it wouldn't shock me is like they play Carolina. Carolina's offensive line stinks. Dallas offensive line stinks. And like after the second week, we're like, oh my God, Chase Young has 5 sacks. He's gonna get $150 million. He's gonna be incredible. This defense is incredible. He's gonna be amazing. Wow. And then he's gonna go like a month where he has like half a sack. So at the end of the year, you're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, oh, he had 11 sacks. You gotta pay him. And then me, you, Juge, Turd in the Punch Bowl, Dave is gonna come stomping in and being like, yeah, but 8 of those sacks were in 4 games. And that's what I think the problem is gonna be. But I think he's gonna smash this over.
Or what it's going to be is he's going to have a bunch of games where he gets credit for half a sack, where he gets credit for half sacks, and it'll, he'll. I hate saying pad, but he'll pad the resume with that a little bit. But I don't care.
He's Kevin. He's critical in this sense. He's got to sacks get him paid. But he's got to be healthy, and he's got to be a guy
that pressure. It's pressure.
Yeah, but he's got to be a guy because last year, let's be realistic. Every game, teams were like, if we just block Carl Granderson, who's a B minus, maybe a B plus defensive end, if we block him, we're fine. The Saints will not get us unless they pressure us. The Saints need every week teams to be like, we got to block Chase Young. We got to block Granderson. They got to have 2 guys that teams are afraid of. And that's what they need from Chase Young. But I disagree with you. I think he's going to smash this over. I would turn this over into oblivion. He's going to smash this if he's healthy. So what's next, Thomas?
All right, we are staying with the sacks theme. So next one is Cam Jordan over under 5.5 sacks.
Oh, this is a tough one, Kevin. He's getting old. They're going to be playing him inside. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You go first.
I'm going under. I'm going under. I think the cliff has hit for Cam Jordan, and even though he's in great shape and he's gotten thin, he's at like his high school weight, and he's doing this and all this. I think he's just gonna be really good against the run, but I think the pass rush juice is gone from him. The good thing is he's dependable. He'll play every week. He'll be good against the run. We love him. It's fine, but I don't think he's having a bounce back year. I'm taking the under.
I am also taking the under, but I think he still does better than he did last year. I'm thinking he finishes with 4.
That would be a lot better.
Because again, the presence of Chase Young will improve things for everybody. Like, again, if they're just getting pressure and the coverage is good, you'll get a few extra coverage sacks for sure.
Well, I mean,
the sack thing will actually go into my my point later. I'm putting a pin in that, but the team will have more sacks.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you give Cam Jordan, let's say he almost gets it. If you give him 5, that's more than last year. If you give Chase Young 7.5, if you give Chase Young 8, that's 10 more sacks than you had last year. Going just off of those 2 guys, right?
Right.
So we'll see. I'm bullish on the defense because of Chase Young, because of Willie Gay because of a lot of things, because of DA's he's just really good at coaching defense. I'm not bullish on Cam Jordan. I want to be, and we love Cam, but I mean, nobody gets to play forever, and especially guys on defense. So anyway, Thomas, what's next?
All right, next one is defensive touchdowns over under 1.5.
Okay. So last year they had, and I guess I should have included maybe defensive special teams touchdowns, right? Last year they had 2. Tyrann Mathieu, they blocked the punt against Carolina. And is that it? I don't think I'm forgetting anything.
Yeah, there was only one pick six, and it was Honey Badger. There were no fumbles returned. There was one fumble returned for a touchdown. That was DeMarco Jackson.
It was a punt block, yes.
And that is
it.
That. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's a special. Let me see if a special teamer.
No.
Yeah, Shaheed had one punt return.
Oh, the punt return. Yeah, the punt return.
And then, no kick returns for a touchdown.
So you had 3 total last year.
You had 3 defense and special teams touchdowns. Now, you're saying defensive. If you want to alter this to special teams.
I will. We can alter it to special teams.
So what do you want to put it at? 2.5, or do you want to keep it at 1.5?
I'll keep it at 1.5.
I'll take the over.
You'll take. Ooh, see, I'm going on. I don't know. Like, the thing is, defensive touchdowns, it feels just like
I think we'll get to defensive touchdowns.
I mean, listen, if
you told me it was just defense, I would still take the over. I would still say 2.
Well, that's positive.
I'm being bold.
That's positive vibes from you, Kevin, because I feel like defense. I feel like
positivity.
Defensive touchdowns and turnovers, it fluctuates wildly, and it is sort of like a vibes thing, and that defenses that just play good, they feel like we're going to just create it. It's going to happen. I like that from you.
Oh,
I'm going Ralph.
I don't know.
There he is.
We'll see. 1.5.
You froze for 3 seconds, Ralph.
For 1.5, it's I mean, because to go over, you got to get to 2. 2 defensive touchdowns. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it really is, because they've had years where the Saints have had really good defense and not scored any. So I'm going under. It's Kevin. I just feel weird that you had such positive vibes about the defense scoring touchdowns in that moment. It hit me across the face. I didn't know how to process it. But here's my question for you: if they're going over, and we're not going to hold you to this, but if they're going to go over 1.5, give me the 2 guys that are going to score them for the Saints.
Go find them. Hang on a second. I have my tabs here pulled up for everything. I've got the depth chart. Okay.
Yeah.
Alontae Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And Rico Payton.
Rico Payton. Now that would mean shenanigans, possible injuries at corner happen.
But it could just mean a different look.
That's right.
It could just mean a different look.
Also, you know what we haven't had in a while, Kevin, that we really need as a fan base?
What?
We need a fat guy defensive touchdown. That's what we need. We need an Anthony Hargrove falls on the fumble in the end zone. We need a Bink. We need a Cam Jordan. We need a fat guy defensive touchdown. Like, you know what I'm talking.
Kalen Sanders weighs 324.
Yeah.
Nathan Shepard weighs 315. What's Granderson weigh?
You know, when we need like
261.
We need that touchdown where like the Saints are beating Carolina like 17-3. They sack Bryce Young, he fumbles, and they pick it up, and it's just like a convoy of the defense, and they're like celebrating with the fat guy at like the 15-yard line. We need that as a fan base.
Look, I think It would have to be an interior lineman because Cam and Granderson are both under 300. I mean, obviously they're still big ass guys, but Nathan Shepard and Kalen Sanders fit the bill. Christian Boyd fits the bill. Brian Bresee fits the bill.
The new guy from the Redskins that they traded for.
Oh, John Ridgeway. That would be funny. Like, again, a 6 foot, these like 6'4", 6'5" guys who were, 315, 320, that kind of stuff. That's hilarious. I would love it if it's one of those. Look, I don't care if it's he has to run from 40 yards out to score and he's completely gassed the final 10 yards, but everybody else has formed a convoy. I also don't care if it's a situation where it's a fumble and a scoop and a score, but a couple of guys, like one or two guys tries getting in the way or tries to tackle him and he just carries them in, give me that. Like, I don't know which one I prefer. I say I would prefer one, but then I immediately am but this would be give me John Ridgeway doing this with like one guy on his back and another guy trying to get him at the waist, and then he just falls over into the end zone. Or give me Kalen Saunders with three guys around him doing this, and he's just absolutely kaput by the time he hits the 5-yard line and then falls into the end zone and just stays there.
Well, I mean, look, to end this, a fat guy touchdown is like ice cream. You can't really go wrong with any flavor you pick. All right, Thomas, what's next?
Okay, so the next one is... Saints will have over under 33.5 sacks. Pound
the over.
Pound
the over. Listen, DA was the full-time defensive coordinator starting in 2016. In 2016. So let me go find that and make sure I'm correct here with this number that I'm looking at, because I've been going through the numbers. 20. All right, there's that. There's 15, and then there's 16. Okay. Going back to 2016, he's only had fewer than 33.5 twice.
Wow. Okay.
Since 2016.
Okay.
And I'm going through it and making absolutely sure. The rest of the time they've had in the 40s, they've even had in the 50s. DA knows defense. Yeah. And it's like, I think him having this, I think the 34 sack year was an aberration. Because it was the first year that he was the defensive coordinator in 2016, like full time. They only had 30.
And that defense was, but fair, that defense was abominable. Like, it was 31st in points. It was he got it fixed the next year, but his first year it was a train wreck. And to your point, they still had 30.
So I'm pounding the over.
I'm pounding the over.
Like, I think I would start to have doubts on the sack total probably at 40.5.
Wow.
I would start to have doubts at 40.5. I think this team can get to 40. I think 40.
Yeah.
Easily.
I'll say this. If they
check the timestamp on that one, Tomas.
If they don't hit this number of 33.5, DA is in real trouble of getting fired. Like, the defense has to be good. And to be good, you got to get sacks, to get turnovers,
right,
to get stops. So right. I just think if they don't hit this number, 33.5, DA is in a lot of trouble. So I'm with you. What's next, Thomas?
Okay, let's go to the next over-under, which is Derek Carr over under 23 touchdown passes.
Ooh, dicey.
Let's see. 1,
Dicey.
3, 4, 5.
He's never gotten to 30.
No, yeah, he did. 2015.
Okay, 2015 he got to 30.
But he's been, what's the number? 23.
23.
See, you'd have been better off saying 23 and a half because he's had a season at 23 at 23. So
yeah, I should have done a half. Sorry, bad.
So I'll count 23 and fewer. So he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons at 23 and fewer, and he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons 24 and above. So it's literally a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Now, however, his last 4 seasons, 3 of them have been over the mark. 1 of them was exactly 23.
Yeah. So what you got for me? What you got?
God. I'm taking the over.
Yeah,
I'm taking the over.
I think
I can't. Here's the thing. If he's not hitting 23 touchdown passes, even if they're winning, even if they're winning and scraping by, if the rushing game is somehow better or something like that, you're still going to get a lot of, hashtag the agenda, a lot of Rattler talk. Carr, it's on Carr to silence
that's right.
critics or people who want to see Rattler or Jake Hayner or somebody else get picked up somewhere. And it, like, Derek Carr is playing for his job.
Yeah.
Because look, DA gets canned. Whoever the new coach isn't going to be has no loyalty to him. So, DA is coaching for his job. Derek Carr is playing for his job. I'm saying over. I'm
going over. And the reason is, it'll be clear in another over under when we get to it. But I think this offense, I think people have gone way too negative on the Saints. We haven't seen them with Olave and Juwan Johnson and Shaheed and Kamara. We haven't seen what they plan on doing. Nobody's seen it, right? They didn't show it to us in the game, so we don't know, Kevin. So I just think, I'm not saying this offense is going to be great, but I think there's a negativity with the fan base and the national media, the Bill Simmons, betting the Saints, betting DA to be the first coach fired, betting the Saints like under 5 wins. Like, I think there's a negativity.
Simmons was on that one too?
Yeah. Yeah, he did his over-unders for the NFC, and he did DA first coach to be fired, and he did the Saints. You could bet the Saints under, I think, 4.5 or 5 wins, and it was like plus 600. And Bill Simmons is like, I did a parlay. I did both. Like, the Saints are going to be the Saints are going to be one of the worst teams. They're going to be dreadful.
Well, look, if you want to bet that they're going to be that bad, then yeah, you would bet that Dennis Allen's going to get fired.
I just think it's trended too negative. I think like Derek Carr burping out 25 touchdowns, 11 picks, 3,800 or 4,200 yards. Like, that's what he's done his whole career, and it'll drive us batty, and people will scream for Rattler and say he's terrible and all this. But it's just like Derek Carr. He's been pretty consistently meh his whole career. So I'm going over as well. So we'll see. But Thomas, what's next?
Okay, next over under is offensive line over under 35.5 sacks allowed. They had 35 last year.
Ooh, it's a tough one, Kevin. This is another one. I feel like it's gotta. Just like with the sacks on defense, I feel like this one's a critical one.
God, all right, I'm looking at that. I'm checking that. No, that ain't it. Oh, man. With 2018, they had real great protection.
Yeah, well, I mean,
2017, great protection.
Well, how much of that? The thing is, though, we got to remember, Drew Brees, one of his superpowers was
just
I'm just not.
awareness.
He's just like, I'm not getting sacked, and
Like,
I won't get
Spidey
sacked,
sense.
and I'll still be amazing while doing it.
Yep.
So
In 2012, 2011, go back. Yeah, like this guy just is able to avoid shit. What is that? 35 and a half?
35 and 35 and a half, and it's kind of like
I think the offensive line is going to be bad, or at the very least, not good. And I get the whole, well, the opposite of good is bad. There's a difference between saying something is not good and then saying something is outright bad.
the seventh fewest sacks last year, 35. Like, that's
I think they're allowing more. I think they're going to be close. So the funny thing is, I think the offensive line is going to allow nearly 40.
Okay.
I think the defensive line is actually going to get 40 or more sacks themselves.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
40. If the Saints went up to 40, let's say they went from 35 to 40.
Yeah.
That would put them 17th. It would put them 14th, 15th. Bang average right in the middle. Jaguars allowed 41 sacks. That's 16th in the NFL. So if you go up to 40, 41, it still only gets you to middle of the pack. You're not like bottom of the league dreadful, you know?
Huh. Shoot, now you got me thinking maybe they're going to be worse.
Well, no, but
just,
here's
I think the offensive line is worse than it was last year.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Kevin.
Right, because again, we don't know what Fuaga is. We're hoping Fuaga is good. Like we like the guy passes the vibes check.
Yeah,
but we don't know what he's going to be like in the actual game. I think the team we're starting Lucas Patrick at guard. Trevor Penning is penning. We're literally depending on, like, Eric McCoy is a top, 5'6" center in the league. But it's like we're counting on him and Cesar Ruiz.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Kevin. When you start getting into the bottom 10 of sacks allowed, I think you start to see a trend. The Patriots, the Bengals, Joe Burrow was hurt. The Bears, the Broncos, the Titans, the Jets, the Panthers, the Commanders, and the Giants. What do all those teams have in common last year? And Kevin, what did they all have in common? God. Their quarterbacks stunk. I mean, stunk. You're talking about Tommy DeVito. You're talking Sam Howell, Bryce Young, the poo-poo platter the Jets threw out. You're talking Will Levis, the corpse of Tannehill, the Broncos, the corpse of Russell Wilson. Right?
But here's the thing. So you look at number 11 on the sacks last year was the Texans.
Yeah.
And then you go to 13, it's the Chargers.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I tell you what, I'm going to revise mine and go higher.
I'm going to go over two.
They're going to be like 43, 44 sacks.
Ooh, that's. I think they're going to. I'm going over two. I think they're going to go to 41, and I think they're going to be 16th in sacks allowed. It's going to be frustrating. It might feel a lot worse than last year, but it's not going to be that different. But I'm going to go over as well. I think they're going to slip. Because last year it was better than they thought, and they had a better line last year. They had Ramczyk and they had Hurst and Pete, and that was better than what they've got this year. So, Thomas, what's next?
Okay, next one. Going to next one, which is Alvin Kamara over under 1.2k total yards. He had 1175 last year.
Remember, he got suspended. He was suspended for 3 games last year.
Over. I'm being optimistic with Alvin Kamara.
Would you pound it?
Would you pound it, Kevin?
Pound it.
So look, he would have to. So look, he's got to get 500 yards receiving, 700 yards rushing.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, he got suspended for some time. He played 13 games. Yeah. And still got 1175.
Yeah.
I think if he stays healthy and plays like shit, he played 15 in 2022 and got over 1,300.
Yeah.
Got close to 1,400. He played 13 in 2021 and almost got and got over 1,300. So, yeah, I think if he stays healthy enough to play 15 games or more, 1,200, yeah, I'll take the over.
I am going to
Comfortably over.
I'm going to pound this over into oblivion. And this is a little tease for the people for the main show, the live stream that we have. And by the way, you want to check out the live stream this week and tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. We got all kinds of fun, incredible things for the Saints season preview. But I'm going to pound it. And here's why, Kevin. If I'm going to be toxic positivity, reckless optimism, and you want to say the Saints are going to get to 10, 11 wins, it isn't going to happen without Kamara being amazing. And I just feel like Kamara, he's been quiet. He's been a good soldier with his contract. He's kind of done. Maybe he did a little bit of hold in. Maybe he really had a back tweak. We don't know. He probably did a little bit of both. But I'm here to tell you, Kevin, Kamara is going to have a career year. And he is going to dare the Saints next offseason to not pay him. Dare.
Okay, so let's look and see what this career year would be.
Maybe not in touchdowns, because he had a crazy season of touchdowns in 2020. It might not be.
I believe 2020 would be the career, is his career year, because he had 16 rushing touchdowns. He had 5 receiving touchdowns. He had
almost 1,000 yards rushing.
That was his highest rushing total. And then he had 756 receiving yards, which was his second highest total. So he had a combined
16.
Nearly 1,800 yards from scrimmage. Yeah, I mean, that would have been his career year. So you're saying he's going to get close to 1,800 yards from scrimmage?
I'm saying he's going to get close to 1,800 yards from scrimmage. I think it's going to be mostly receiving. It's going to be a lot of receiving. Like, he's going to have close to 100 catches, I think. So it's going to be a lot of receiving. But he's going to have an amazing year. And come next spring, he's going to be smiling and be like, Mickey Loomis, I dare you not to pay me. I'm a Saints legend. I dare you. And we'll see what happens. But I think Kamara is going to be poised to have a freaking amazing year.
You
went over too. I said that one was poor by me. I set that one based on last year. It really should have been like over under 1,450
I
yards.
think you could have made it interesting at 1,350.
Yeah, it was a low.
I think you could have made it interesting at 1,350 because the year that the other year that he played 13 games, he finished with, let's see, 898 and 439, so that's 1,200. He finished with 1,337 yards in 2021. So I think 1,350 might have been the magic number to spur more action.
Well, I am pounding that over. I expect Alvin Kamara to be freaking amazing. Maybe not with touchdowns for career year, because 2020 was just ridiculous.
I mean, listen.
He had the Christmas game. I mean, it's and also too, I think in the red zone they're going to be more creative. I think it's going to be a lot of Taysom. I think red zone touchdowns are going to be hard to get for him. But listen,
if he gets 12 total touchdowns, I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah, well,
like, he hasn't gotten, like, shit. You go back to 2021, he had 9 total touchdowns.
They need him
in 2020, and then 6, and then 18 in 2018, and then he had 13 in 2017. I think if he gets to 12 again, great year.
I mean, they need him to have a big behind him is oof. Which another kind of oof depth is wide receiver. So our final over-under, Thomas, hit us with it.
All right, final over-under is... Saints will over-under 5.5 players with over 400 yards receiving. They had 4 last year.
That's 4.5, right?
4.5. Over 4.5 players with at least 400 yards receiving. Last year, they had 4.
Damn, 5? Jesus. That would be a lot.
So you got to, you got to find, if you go over, you got to find 5 guys to do it. And
with over 400 yards,
yeah.
They did have, hang on, I'm looking at the numbers.
They had 4 last year. They had 4.
Oh, you know what? I'm probably not looking in the right.
Yeah, it's just yards. I'll name them for you.
Oh, no. Right, I'm sorry. I was looking in the wrong place. I was looking at rushing for some guy. Yeah. Okay, Olave, Shaheed, Kamara, and Michael Thomas.
That's right.
With Juwan Johnson just outside. Over 400 yards.
Yeah. So Michael Thomas is gone. So you only got 3 of them currently on the roster. So if you go over, you got to find 2 new dudes to do it. I mean, Chris Olave, Shaheed, who's been hurt, but I think he'll get over it. Kamara, yes, but
so
you got to find
3.
That's 3. But if you go over, you got to find 2 more dudes.
So let me pull this back up. I tell you what, I think A.T. Perry gets over 400.
Okay, he's been a struggler in the preseason.
Perry gets over 400, and then at that point, you got to be thinking, does Taysom Hill possibly get over 400 yards receiving?
Mm-hmm.
Or do they focus more on rushing his ass? Because he did get 81 rushes last year.
Yeah. To get Taysom to 400 yards, he caught 33 last year. If you want to get Taysom to 400, if he's averaging 9 yards a catch, you got to get him to 45 catches maybe, which would be a lot of catches for Taysom.
So then you have to hope that either Juwan Johnson plays better to get to that 400 number, or he regresses to the point that they say, all right, Foster Moreau or Dallin Holker, we're giving you the...
Oh, they say, I like that with you, Kevin. Before we get out here, you dropped your UDFA son. Congratulations to your family. He made the team. But I like how you dropped that right in at the end.
All right. Okay.
I like that.
Listen, I'm talking myself into this.
Yes, I like it.
I'm talking myself into this when I'm being... This is not even toxic positivity. This is stupid positivity.
I love it. Give it to me.
This is asinine positivity.
Give it to me.
I think we're getting 5 people with over 400 yards.
Yes.
It easily Olave, easily Shaheed. Yes. Perry will get by it. Perry will probably wind up with 600 yards.
Right.
I think we'll get Kamara for sure. And Dallin Holker.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
You'll be the one that gets us over the top.
Your victory lap, if that happens, will reverse the rotation of the earth. I'm here for it. I'm here for it, though.
Like Superman 1.
I'm here for it. So, guys, this concludes our over-under show for the Saints. If you like the show, go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Become a patron. Get your Jim Mora stickers, Diddly Poo, Coulda, Shoulda, Woulda. We got all of them, all the classics. That's amazing. You should do it. Support the show. And live show this week, Friday, 7 p.m. Sports Drink. Less than 10 tickets available. Get them. Click the link. Join us Friday. It's going to be freaking amazing. So for Kevin, for Thomas running the show back in Poland, I'm Ralph. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, the bar is closed.